Hello, everyone. Welcome to this talk. My name is Viki Réka. I'm a producer from Hungary, and we are here to discuss the role of workshops and pitching forums in documentary filmmaking, which is really, really crucial. So we will do our best to explain it, but also please feel free to ask questions. Please, let's introduce you, all of you. Oliver, would you start? He's a producer from Croatia. Do you have a mic? Is that a turn on?
Welcome everyone. Producer from Croatia, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Do you go to a lot of workshops and pitching forums?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Okay, yeah, we'll get back to that. And Hana? Hana, please feel free to elaborate a bit more about your background and work.
Okay, hi, I'm Hana Kulhánková. I came here from Prague, Czech Republic. I have been working for different festivals and cultural institutions my whole life. I started at the university when we founded Queer Film Festival in Brno and in Prague. It's still existing until today, so I'm just really happy about that. And most of my professional life I spent as a director of One World Human Rights Documentary Film Festival, big human rights film festival that also many years ago helped to find Versio, the festival that is happening right now. And at the moment, it's my first month in the new role. I am a manager of EastDoc, which is name for activities around market of Institute of Documentary Film, which is an organization in the Czech Republic already existing for more than 20 years. And we work with documentary films, series, shorts, and we have projects in different stages from development till distribution, and I'm in charge of the later part where the films are almost finished and they go on the market. And part of my work is also EastDoc platform, which is a space where projects are being pitched to different people from televisions, festivals, distributors, and so on. And we focus on films from Central and Eastern Europe.
Hi, I'm Theodora. I am Romanian, but I live in Italy. And I started working in documentary some years ago with DOCIT, the Italian Documentary Association, which works with producers, filmmakers, directors of photography, and all other professionalities that work with documentary, with activities that promote their work. They do a lot of political representation in the main places where the conversation happens, and they also do activities such as delegations to the most important markets in Europe. And they also founded one of the first markets specifically for documentary in Italy, which is IDS, Italian Doc Screenings. So I started working there as a secretary, and then I participated in organizing this event for 2 years. And then I started working as freelancer, mainly for right now Biography Festival, which has an industry section which is called Bio2B, that selects 20 European documentary projects in development or early stage production, post-production, so open basically to every stage of working. And
we should definitely go into the details of that in next round.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, I just don't want you to rush through it because it's important and interesting details. But László, please introduce yourself.
I'm László, Józsa. Can you hear me? A Hungarian producer, and so I'm just shouting, that's why you can. Yeah, it's much better for me. I don't have to shout anymore. So I'm a Hungarian producer. I'm really proud we have a filming the Hungarian competition here called Come on Tete. The screening will be on Monday. There are still tickets left, so if you like what I say, please watch the film we have here at Versio. And I'm also in the board of the Hungarian Documentary Association. As a producer, I usually go for pitching forums, and with the Moderator, the Hungarian Documentary Association, we're involved in organizing industry events as well. Luckily, my colleagues are doing that this year, so I can be just a guest here at Versio this year.
Yeah, so I think a lot of you are students here, not everyone, but there are a lot of students, and basically what we want to shed more light on is the importance, the significance, and the role of these industry forums, which I guess at first sight it seems like a forest of so many things, and it's difficult to understand clearly what is for what, and each platform or workshop has their own profile, their own angles. It's really it's like a web of things. But why is it important in the first place to go to those things? Do you want to go first? Let's see, because I mean we are from a specific market, because we have to go to those because otherwise we're dead. But what do you think is?
I have to say that me personally, I take my projects for pitching from the birth of the idea until finishing the film. So it's a constant process I do. Sometimes the best time to pitch is development stage, sometimes at production. And for example, this time I'm going to ITFA to present almost finished film tomorrow. So each of these steps have different importance in my mind. And especially why I say these three sections, because this is how you make films as well. But sometimes I just want to say, when you have a really strong idea at development stage and you believe there is a reason to go because you need some help creatively, or you want some help in terms of financing the film, then this is the development stage. But sometimes, in my experience, the idea is so undeveloped or so hard to sell at development stage that there's no point pitching it. So there's a long process of thinking and experience of when you want to present your project to an industry audience. But I just wanted to say that why the question was, why is it important? And it's always important, and what kind of stage you're projecting and where you go to pitch is the real question.
I think there are various. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. There can be various intentions or motivations why one would go to such a platform, but it seems everyone has to, even the ones who don't like it. So, Oliver, what do you think, and why do you go? Why do you feel like you have to participate? What do you get out of it, or who forces you to be there?
I don't know. I'm in very schizophrenic situation. I'm telling to everyone I'm bad producer because I love films, and and then if I want to be completely honest, I mean this is bullshit what I just said, but I think that producer is best friend of the director, but also natural enemy of the director. In the point
Frenemy.
that in the point that I think what is especially for documentary filmmakers, what is natural that you feel something, you take camera, you develop a bit so it's not really crap, and then you shoot it, and it should be done and coming from inside. Problem comes out when you want some expenses to be paid, no? And then producers come in that are your best friends, actually, because I call it marriage. I always talk with my directors before we start to work. Look, we are in marriage now. When we get money, we have a kid, so it means we need to make a film. And then it will have ups and downs. We need to talk about this. Probably we will fight. Okay, let's don't bear a grudge. Let's work on it because we need to bring the kid to be 18 at least. No? But the point is that all this development and all this financing and films are more and more expensive and everything. It lasts too long. And then you do film 5 to 7 years feature, and then you promote it for another 1, 2. No? So it basically, so schizophrenic situation is actually then, of course, then I'm going to all the pitchings and workshops, and I think they're important, especially because now, I was searching a bit how many films are produced, documentary, and this superficial AI wrote like 11,000, but it's not even, I don't know what are the parameters, how they calculate, but I think more than 20,000 documentaries at least are produced in the world every year. So you need, being selected for the pitching, it already means that the title of your film is somewhere there, and you are promoting and you are getting feedbacks, bad or good. Everybody is smart asses on this, these workshops. Sometimes you get very good things, but it's a bunch of information. It's like Facebook, that is like you have millions of attitudes coming about your film, about your idea. Some people don't write good, some directors don't talk good, somebody doesn't know how to pitch properly, they have a stage fright, but they're wonderful directors. So we can talk more about this, but anyway, I think it's very important first to go to workshops to meet people, to see how the world is working, and then to get a PR for your film in different stages. And it's important. It costs some money that you fly somewhere, whatever. So it's very important to see where and why, in what time you want to go on which pitching. Sometimes it's okay in the very early development, especially if the director is beginner. I apply to the, let's call small scale pitching, so they really meet people for the beginning, and then we work further. You don't go to ITFA immediately, no, but it takes some stage.
Sure, yeah, there's the thing that there are so many films or documentaries being produced or being planned that already, if you are selected anywhere, just the selection itself already, it's a filter, you were selected for some reason because there is some quality in your material or your author or whatever, and then there are many more steps to come after that, but that's a first step. Yeah. Hana, would you be able to explain a little bit about EastDoc platform, which actually has an extended deadline right now?
Yeah.
So it's an urgent.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what was said by people who actually make films, is that we, the people who work for the markets and for the workshops, we check what other markets and workshops are working with. So it's not that if you apply for one workshop or one pitching forum that it's done. No, we really check, and because we of course like to choose the projects that are the most suitable for us, and not only like for us as an organization or as a platform, but also for us as human beings, because even though that as Oliver said, that there are like so many films being made, and I watch and evaluate I don't know, like hundreds projects or films every year, I still get taken aback. I still get emotional. I still relate to what filmmakers film, or how they explain what they want to film. So there is this also kind of like emotional relationship with us, the people, at the end of the cycle of your film project. And back to the question, so EastDoc platform is a platform at the end of March in Prague in the Czech Republic, where we select projects to different strands. The biggest one is called Forum, where 25 projects, documentary films and series are being presented, pitched to dozens of people from sales, distributors, televisions, festival representatives. And before this forum, there is like a 5 days where you go, it's like intensive preparation for this, where with your project, when you are selected, you have like a group of tutors who go through your material, through what the story is about, how to like cut the best short trailer that you present there.
So it's a workshop?
Yeah,
it's a 5 day
yeah, it's kind of like a small intensive workshop, and then you present it, and then you have meetings with all these different people that either you choose because you want them, or they choose your project because they want to know more or they want to collaborate. So that's like one group, and then another group of projects which are usually more like on the like ending like cycle. So it's rough cuts and almost finished films are there for the market. So it's without the workshop, but you have a chance to be presented in the catalog, and then you can have these one-to-one meetings with the people that can help your film to reach different kind of audiences. Basically.
Sorry, forum is for what stages?
It's
Development?
development, production, and
Okay.
market is for projects that are have rough cuts or are almost finished. And our deadline was officially announced as extended until the November 23. So when you go on the website of Institute of Documentary Film, the website is docweb.net. There is like information about everything, and we accept films not only from Central and Eastern Europe, but also beyond the. Yeah.
I just had a thought. Well, I had a lot of thoughts, but one of them is because we have so many students here. Maybe is it a good idea to talk a little bit about what it means to be in development versus production? Like, what's the difference? Where is the line? It's a thin line. Somehow it's all, or sometimes it's all intersected. I don't know. Hana, how would you define, like, when you pick projects for your program? Like, what do you consider development or production?
Oh, that's a tough question. So development stage is really the beginning of your idea. Like you have an idea that you want to make a film about this or that, and you like write a bit what it could be about. You film a bit, and you get ideally producer on board, because it's very difficult to really work on the project alone. There are such people who create, edit, produce, but it's I cannot imagine like doing it on one own. And producer is trying to get the first funding. And once you, sometimes you can get a funding for development. In some countries, you can get finances from your local film funds or from a bit from televisions, but not very often. And then when you start, when your idea is really set and you know what you want to do, you start shooting, and that's production, right?
Judging from the facial expression of my dear colleague László, I think that...
I just wanted to say, when you have no fucking idea what you want to do, then you go to a development workshop to try to figure out. And this sounds crazy, but very often you go to development workshops and you pretend and lie that you know what you want to do, and if you did it well, then you get a chance to produce it. So and go to production. But it sounds silly, but at development stage, a documentary project is very vulnerable, and you don't know a lot of things. I've been to the first pitching forum in Thessaloniki, a forum called Docs in Thessaloniki, where I was first selected about 15 years ago. and we didn't even know who our protagonist would be in the film. And we pitched an idea. We knew exactly what's the topic we want to film about, where we want to do, but we had to convince decision makers with the idea of who will be presented in the film. And or there is very different things.
Was this Ultra? Or
yes,
what was
and
it?
many times there is different things you don't know about your film, and you take it to a development workshop to develop it. To figure out if there is a market for it. For example, Western European filmmakers do it more often than Eastern. That they get almost automatic funding for developing a project, and they are going to this workshop, test the idea, test the topic, test whatever they have. They can fake to know about the project, and if the market decision makers, sales agents, broadcasters say, we don't get it, there is no place for this film in our market, in our TV, in our festival, then they drop it. They just go, that's the point of development. And quite often I feel development workshop or pitching forum is a safe space to go there, test your idea, test whatever you have, and if you face nobody wants this film, then maybe you have to go home and think whether there's a point spending 4, 5, 6, 10 years with this topic. So
or hopefully, or ideally, you gained some feedback why they don't like it, or what they are missing from it, and you go home and do some thinking and rework your concept.
Yeah, exactly. Or you figure out if my film was going to be like this, then these people would want it and finance it. So very practical. And production, on the other hand, you should be able to tell how you're going to make your film and what exactly is about and who's in this film and when you're going to finish it. And it should be much more realistic than faking it at development stage.
But I think, though, because there is so much competition, there are so many projects, so many ideas, so many concepts and directors, that my feeling is, which sometimes makes me upset, is that I am in development, early development, let's say, with a project. So I have a vague idea, and we all know it's really early and it's vague. However, because of the market and the competition, I have to fake it that I really know what I am going to do with it. So I think that when you say that it's just your first idea, it could be a little bit misleading, because actually, if you want to be seen, you have to pretend that you really know what you want to do. So even if you don't, this would be a small advice from me, even if you don't, you have to pretend you do. And maybe you get selected and you go there and you might gain valuable feedback or guidance from other people that actually help you find your way. But so there are big expectations usually, I think.
Yeah, like when I said the first idea, like it in reality, it really means that you need to have like something written down, like few
synopsis.
Yeah, like synopsis and kind of like few pages of what you think could happen in a story. And for what I also like when I'm really like selecting projects is kind of understanding the motivation. So kind of that I like know why the people who want to make this project really want to make this project. So this kind of like you can sincerely really explain what's your personal motivation. Yeah.
And then you really have to apply for the right ones, which is right for your project, which is also a big topic. But on that note, Theodora, would you please tell us more about your program specifically? I don't think a lot of us know that platform yet too well. So it's a festival in Biografilm is a festival in Bologna, correct? And you have an industry program.
Yes, Biografilm takes place in June, and it's a festival that was born 22 years ago, dedicated to biographical and character-driven stories. Mostly documentary, but we also do some fiction. And the Industry Days was created 13 years ago with the idea that the production sector in Italy wasn't so strong as other countries. So there was this idea that producers and filmmakers could learn good practices and methods from international colleagues. So it was born with the idea that sales agents from abroad would come to Bologna, where there was a pitching forum of now we reached our size of 20 projects every year from all over Europe. And what we do basically is select. We changed a bit the rule since like 3 years ago. So we look for authors that have a production with them, but they could be in development or in production or in post-production stage. And we do an online training before the pitch that's made of three sessions in which every project gets the opportunity of rehearsing their pitch and get a feedback from our mentor on how to be the most clear possible and how to be direct, because you have 7 minutes to say everything that you need to say. So what I saw from my experience is that to engage the audience that's there, you have to be clear and truthful, emotionally truthful. And that's what happens, I think, with a lot of first-time directors, that they're rightfully very involved with the story. So they need some guidance on how to express it very clearly in that really high-pressure moment, because 7 minutes, it's very short time.
And by the way, that's standard. It's almost everywhere, always 7 minutes altogether.
So yeah, and then the thing, I think it's different in small and medium-sized industry events, is that decision makers or experts that are in the audience are there to help you by giving you feedback, you know, because nobody's there to say like, your project sucks, go home. But it's just, this is where your weakness is, so maybe you could work more in that direction. And the more you tell a story, the more clear it becomes to you also. And the audience in these kinds of events is there to help you do that. So yeah, I think this kind of events like Versio and BO2B have the same philosophy behind it, that we want to create a safe space in which you can exercise your ability to also lie, as you say.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like therapy, no? That you talk about the same story over and over and over and over again, but collect all feedback and you develop it bit. By the end, you have a coherent, full circle story. What were you thinking?
I just wanted to say I'm listening what they're talking, and I agree with everything. And the point is that, I mean, doing a film, it's group work. It's always group work based on trust with, I don't know, is it your producer at best, or maybe you have more people that you can talk with. And even before, if you don't manage to lie well, so Ex Oriente takes you for the workshop, for example, or BO2B, I mean, then you speak with someone you trust who can tell you, or someone who is professional enough. I mean, we run the School of Documentary Film in Zagreb, and we are telling them, look, I mean, you are young, you will need to go with a more notable producer, because, I mean, there is a trust to the producer, so he will manage, because it also counts, you know. I mean, are you beginner producer, or are you? I mean, beginner producer will probably dedicate more time with you, but I mean, more experienced producer will not have that much time, but has experience, knows market, knows all these small details that usually directors don't know, or if they know, then they are supermans. But I mean, I want to say that it's very important to build a trust group to make your film, and it's always group thing, and when there's when I work with the directors, and sometimes it sparks some ego things and whatever. It's mine. It's no, I can understand it, but it's not yours. I mean, it's our group work, and you came to there because your DOP was great, your editor was great. I mean, you had a group of people who help you. Additionally, with the people who commented on your project when you managed to get to the workshop, because I've been to some wonderful workshops, like I've been at Ex Oriente a long time ago now, but it really helped us. For example, there were some comments that we didn't like, of course. Some of them were worthwhile when we stressed of our egos and things. I said, okay, maybe it had sense. Some were completely bullshit, but some were very good. And because I mean, some of the people really spent time with us talking about our project and trying to pierce through our projects. Because I mean, it's ours and it's our baby, and I mean, it's the best in the world. I mean, it's not always, but also market is changing. You know, and it means that, I mean, even the workshops are changing and the festivals are changing, what type of films they want. So, I mean, it also doesn't mean that you make a bad film if you are not accepted. But just the fashion, documentary fashion, is not at that point that. I mean, I would always cheer that we need to do our film, no matter what. And then, I mean, if you need the money, then you also, I mean, you do some prostitution, you know. I mean, it
not to mention
it's always,
broadcasters and streamers and all the other players
all
who
these,
change the market all the time. Yeah. So how do you how do you convince your director? How do you force them to actually actively participate and let themselves into this process? Have you worked with directors who was, because I think we all have, who were like, oh, not again, I don't want to go there having to explain myself. But what do you say?
Because my former company partner, after we did our first 30-minute YouTube documentary, he said, and we started doing a feature-length project, and we started pitching, and he told me, like, this is stupid, I don't believe in pitching.
They always say that, directors, as if they were like...
last year he was here pitching his project at the Versio Lab, and he changed his mind, and he became a really good producer since then. But I understand that especially experienced directors, to go to an industry audience and not be able to answer all the questions, be vulnerable, show your weakness is quite a problem or an issue. But to take this to a positive note, documentary industry itself, but especially this kind of development forums, you are in a very safe environment. So and everybody is there to help you. Sometimes it's ridiculous, as you said, that people at lunch are trying to solve the puzzle of the film for you and give you ideas and tell you how they would solve your film at this early stage. And it's a very, very open place for collecting ideas. And usually 9 of the feedbacks you get don't mean too much to you, but there is always one that takes you to the next level. And about building trust and just building your film at the beginning, figuring out where the industry is, who's interested in your story, who is your story for, is a continuous process until the end. For example, you start writing synopsises when you apply to the first forum, and you finish your synopsis when that same film enters a festival catalog. So basically on this 3 paragraph text, you work for 5 years just as much on your film. And that's basically building trust, figuring out what you do. And one more thing just about the trust is someone asked me if it's worth spending 1,000, 2,000 euros on a pitching forum or not. And I have pitched maybe 20 times in my life, and only 2 times as a producer I managed to raise money on these pitching forums, like directly after, like not indirectly, like 2 years later. And is it disappointing or not? And I would say no. If you go there as a producer with the purpose of bringing back the cash in your luggage, then don't go there. But if sometimes the actual outcome of a pitch forum comes 1, 2, or 3 years after. For example, one festival person saw your film at the very early stage and then sees your cut at selection, and they said, I can't believe you made this job, and then it pays off. So and every pitch forum kind of has a different reason why, what you can learn from it. If you go there, and the question was like, how do you convince the director? So if your director goes there and decides not to pitch it, or at lunchtime they ask you what your project is and they change the topic, then obviously you don't have to take that director to the pitch forum, because this is an opportunity to open your weaknesses and speak about it and learn from it. So I don't think you can actually force them to take, because then there is no point of the whole thing.
Yeah. And basically you're there to promote your project, sometimes throughout years. And I don't know, I might be a record holder on this one, how many times I pitched one project, but what do you think? Do you have like a cap on that? Like, okay, I've already pitched my project 5 times during 2 years in different markets. It's enough now. I'm not gonna do it again. Or how do you think that works?
But I'm trying to be moderate in this respect. I mean,
thank you very much.
Yeah. No, if I'm working with the beginner, with the film beginner, for me, I mean, application is always testing ground. Now when you're talking, I'm just thinking. I started the film. The girl, the author, is dramaturgist. She writes fantastic. She wrote fantastic script, treatment, everything, family story. I said, okay, wow, I don't even need to work on a treatment. It's perfect. I started to apply for the pitchings, for the pitching forum and workshops. It didn't come anywhere. And I was thinking, fuck, okay, so my estimation was bad. And I said, okay, we need to rewrite. Something is wrong with our story. And then we started to speak with other people around us who are also dramaturgists, producer, blah, blah, to get some feedbacks. And now we are rewriting the story and redeveloping it. Like, in a way, it would be still the story, but we need to put some spark in it. Okay. If it enters the workshop and the pitching, then it's testing ground to get where you are, even if you are lying and you don't know where you are and you're trying to find yourself. But if you are there, okay, you get some feedbacks. But when the film is in production, I mean, I usually stop. And then, because I mean, then it's too much. You spend too much money just to go and present yourself, and it lasts for 5 years, and you spend like, what, 30,000 euro just to travel around and meet people. And I agree, I think it's very important not even to get money, but to meet people, because I mean, some of them become your friends, you know, so I think it's even more valuable. But then when we get to the phase of rough cut or something, then unluckily you have these work in progress parts, then it's the time again, okay, we are around, the film will be soon done, and you are basically giving the signal to the festival organizers, maybe to sales if you don't have already one, you know, that, okay, there is a project, we will be done, and it helps then to find your first festival, you know. So, I mean, there are some like Doc Incubator is fantastic, that you organize, that brings really important selectors on spot, so you can solve your world premiere already there when you are in rough cut. So, I mean, this being in touch with the industry is something very, very important. But I don't have a cap. I mean, sometimes you need 6, sometimes 2, sometimes none, but no.
Yeah, and also you make connections, friendships, and professional friendships, and sometimes you go home and realize there is another project I should have mentioned to this person or the other, but you already have an actual, you met face to face, so it's important to build those connections, and they can last for decades actually. Like the people we co-produce with, those are people we met at one or the other of these forums. And yeah, what about the decision makers as industry organizers? How do you choose and put together that pool of decision makers that you want to present the chosen projects to? what's the ecosystem of that?
Oh, so like we are right now at this stage for the EastDoc platform that's going to be in March, and it's just difficult. I don't know if I have like a strategy. Of course, you like we make a list. Priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Send invitations and see like who is available and under what conditions. Because of course, like also our organization like works with a limited funding, so we cannot really fund everybody who would come to the EastDoc platform to meet projects. Some decision makers are coming from backgrounds that they have like finances for traveling. Some of them don't, and they explicitly tell you that they won't come if you don't cover the travel and accommodation. So you really have to make choices, sometimes difficult ones, because you just cannot accommodate everyone. And it really depends also with whom you are on like friendly relations. So it's these like marriages, small marriages are just like from the beginning till the end also with us, because of course we want to have at the EastDoc platform people who are in the position that can really help the projects, are helpful, are not burned out from their work, can really give like something to the projects and really contribute to the films or projects being presented. But it's difficult because like budgets are cut everywhere. Space where you can show your finished films are like smaller, except for the never-ending world of internet. And also in terms of what kind of like, you know, sometimes they call it content, not film, or how you really shape your story. It's important to really have very diverse types of projects, types of films, not just those that are like one as the other on Netflix, for example. Yeah, so it's just, I really don't have an answer because I'm just in the middle of inviting priority number 2. So, so let's hope.
Do you put that in their invitation email?
No,
You are
but
in the
maybe I
second
should,
category.
right? I should.
Okay, but just to give some examples, like what do you have there? You have broadcasters, do you have film funds?
Yeah, we
And-
have
and
broadcasters,
sales and festivals,
sales,
distributor.
yeah, and also people from other markets. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, basically for us it's the same because we have priorities and budgets to respect. And the thing is that we start doing invitations early when the calls for entries open. But then after we do the selection and we know with what projects we have to deal with, we adjust our invitations accordingly with professionals that can really get involved with the projects other than just give precious feedbacks. And one thing that I think is really working out very nicely is that Biografilm this year entered the Doc Around Europe network, which also Versio is part of. And the other festivals are FIPA Doc, Make Docs, Doc München, and Docs Barcelona. And by inviting all the representatives from these festivals, we have taken actions to help circulate with like advantage pathways emerging filmmakers that are at their first or second work. So if you come to Biografilm and then you meet other 5 representatives of festivals and markets, then your project, as the other said, it's already known in the market, you know? So it will be easier when my film is done to present it to a festival or some other kind of of experts that I met at the market. We also have we also like to work with sales agents that that like to enter in the project early in development, and that I think also is really helpful because it takes you to a dimension where you remain truthful to your project, but it also helps you remain in contact with the market and the audience and how it will resonate with the public, you know. So I would say basically, yeah, for me, it's very important to have festival representatives and sales agents, and of course broadcasters and televisions. We also have about the importance of networking. It's also important that representatives of markets go to other markets and meet people, and so they can build relationship with, for example, local film funds that then you can invite to your market, and so on. You can grow all together as a group.
Yeah, but that actually happened to me. Why I ended up pitching the one project so many times, because I went to one workshop and we were awarded, and the award was an invitation to another workshop or a market, and this went on for 3 years. And I was like, we were going crazy because for a long time we didn't raise a single cent. So all the time for years we just went on and pitching, but then it all worked out at the end because somehow everything came together after 3 years of pitching, and we raised nice budget and multiple partners. So sometimes you really just have to repeat yourselves a lot of times. Yeah. Sometimes it's worth it, but sometimes you feel like you're going to burn out and the project is not worth it, then you have to make a decision to drop it. But if you really believe in it, yeah. And this is a question for both of you. Like, how do you try to find, create and maintain the balance of projects in terms of topics? Because I think we all discuss this when we apply or we work on ideas and projects, that every year there are certain trends for topics and themes, and so how do you, what is your policy on this?
That's a good question, because of course, like it's very subjective, right? It's because we like different things also, like in the team. So the way we do it practically is that we have this like a system of when the project applies, it is like read, watched, evaluated by 2 people who are of this different kind of stage of seniority in the team. So somebody who is experienced, has been in the team for longer, and somebody who is new. So it can also be like different generations, and that's really interesting. And then we really see what they both think about it. And of course, like my own. So that's kind of like basic how we go through the dozens of projects that apply till we find the final, I don't know, like 40 that are presented at the platform. But it's totally natural that me personally tend to the topics that have some like human rights spectrum, because I'm like that's my background, and I just feel, for example, that it's important, but in the human rights in a very, very like broad concept, including films that could be like in the experimental form, that could be like really about strong activists, that could be about ecological topics, just very, very something that has some kind of that really speaks with society, or could be I don't know, could be like interesting for people to like, not motivational, but something to give us hope. Because like yesterday we really spent lots of time like talking about geopolitical situation if in Europe, in each of our countries, which is like we didn't find really anything positive. Even like in my country, Czech Republic, that like used to be one of the few like truly democratic. Like we are waiting for the Ministry of Culture that is gonna come from the political party called motorists who really like cars, nothing else. So and big muscled guys, and it's just
Welcome
awful.
to the club.
Yeah. So I think that in this kind of environment, it's much more important to really support topics and people coming from countries, groups that are really going through hell, and let's see where it takes us. But in terms of like really topics, we try to not just focus on one, because the team is diverse. So we also like that it's a variety. Yeah.
What about bio to be?
Yeah, I agree with everything. We also like try to have different topics, but like until last year we had a different selection committee, and this year changed, and I actually saw how the selection reflected the taste of the selection committee, because of course everything is subjective, and if for example I am Romanian, so I resonate a lot with stories of emigration and of I don't know, familiar trauma, because it happens, you know. So it really depends on who is on the selection committee. So if there's a balance in that, I think that also the selection will be kind of balanced. And also I agree with the fact that the contemporary is made of a lot of bad stuff, and we need to have the voices that are present there and then can tell them to the world. And but for the same reason, I think it's important to balance it with some projects that are a little more light-hearted and give us hope, and maybe are smaller stories, like personal stories that can lead to irony and funny, because you know, we also need that, because if documentary is about real life and I only see everything I already see in the news, which is terrible, then I won't go see any more documentaries, you know, because otherwise I will be depressing more and more. So I think we need to have, we try to have this balance also on the tone of the stories. And yeah, something funny that happened with this change in the selection committee is that this year we had no famous sport people biographies because it's all women and we didn't care about sports. So that was it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, there are a lot of programs or platforms that are a little bit more thematic, like about, I don't know, environment or LGBT or female gays or female stories or whatever. I was thinking, because we don't have so much time left, like if anyone's here with a specific project, and if you wanted some advice about where to apply or which program to look out for, I think it could be nice if you ask that question and we try to help. Is there someone with a project like that? Yeah.
Thank you so much. László, you mentioned that if you would like to go to a workshop, you have to make a choice. Which profession would you like to train in your project? And I would like to ask if I would like to build the character, which forum or workshop or pitch possibility would you, all of you, offer us?
By building character, you mean in your story, the protagonist?
Yeah, the protagonist.
So it's basically, this is a script writing question, right?
Maybe yes.
Is that how you understand? Do you have any good advice? And it's a documentary.
It's a documentary film, yes.
I haven't been to Ex Oriente, but there's some workshops which are only a couple of days, and there's other workshops which take several turns, and they really help you develop your film, not just give you tools to present it well in a couple of days, but really take a longer time to watch out for your project. And usually
Like a year, and over a year they would
so
have sessions.
several locations, and you work with the same group, and they really go deeply into your project. Like some of the workshops are only maybe 2-3 days, 1 day of pitching it, and they help you polish your pitch and rework your trailer a little bit, and you present it again. And there is other workshops which take longer time, and these workshops give you the space of really develop your film or go deeply in, or you meet professionals who would look into your material and have time. You have a lot more meetings and sessions just to brainstorm and get feedback. So for actually like developing the script, like the longer the better, and you will see on applications there are maybe more than Ex Oriente, you know the market better.
Yeah, like Ex Oriente takes. It's a workshop that Institute of Documentary Film is organizing. It's a whole year program.
And it's tomorrow, the deadline. Sorry, let's just say that out loud. Ex Oriente deadline is tomorrow.
It's not for the workshop. It's for the ISDoc platform. So
Really?
Ex Oriente is the whole year workshop,
Yeah,
where you
but
can
it's
work
not
with the
tomorrow,
project.
the deadline?
It's for the projects that are going to be presented in March. So the deadline is on 23rd for the ISDoc platform.
I know.
Okay. So
So it's complicated. It's so many programs.
Thank you so much.
So basically,
but
development workshops, which is a group, but maybe you can ask some of us later on. It also depends on how much material you have in place, right? How much writing you have in place. What did you want to add? Sorry.
A few things like, and this has been mentioned, just application to the workshop. So some of the producers apply. It doesn't really matter where, because I think whichever workshop see a potential in your film, they will take you. And then failed applications are very important, because then you start questioning yourself, can I present my idea at this stage well enough? Why are they not understanding? You rewatch your material. Does it make sense to you only or other people? And usually you don't get selected. And just of my own experience, I'm just finishing a documentary series / feature on a young hip-hop artist. And for the first maybe year and a half, we didn't get selected anywhere. And we had to actually question ourselves whether this film is important at all for international audience, because it's a young artist rapping in Hungarian, and maybe.
And what did you figure out was missing, or did you come to a conclusion?
It's only when it entered. So first of all, we got selected to Vezio, and it's also was supporting at that point the idea that we only got selected in a workshop in Hungary. So maybe it's only for Hungarians. And then at that workshop, Hanka Kastalicova from HBO first saw this project, and I have worked with her before. And she said, László, why didn't you tell me about this project before? I was like, I didn't think you would be interested at all. And she said, let's start talking about this. And it took us a year of dialogues and working on the material to be able to convince HBO to come on board, but that's kind of where it started. And it really started making sense that it's
That's still fast. Only a year.
Yeah, but that's different, because it's a hip-hop story, a young story, and HBO at that point says the sooner the better you present this film in Hungary. because this young artist won't be interested in Hungary, our prime market, in 2 years. His sex appeal will be gone. But and then it went to post-production stage, and I tried to apply a post-production workshop at the Doc Incubator, which has been mentioned here, and the raw material and the cut was already showing signs that it is possibly for international audience. And I just learned that Hana was watching our shit edit of rough cut, which we called really shit cut, because it was just scenes thrown next to each other, but she saw potential in it, and it was only meant for international market at post-production stage. So like just applying and being rejected and being selected somewhere is the part of the process. So I cannot really tell you exactly what is your, but like be an application junkie, and then because it usually applying doesn't cost much most of the time, unless you go to ITFA or CPH or workshops that they take your
Then you
money.
go bankrupt.
Yeah, then but avoid the expensive ones and just apply, and the right one will take you.
Oliver, you
But
were gonna.
that I want to say, I mean, now when you asked about the script development, I know there are a lot, but actually in the documentary world, not so much. Like something that lasts long enough that you can really develop it and work properly on the script. In the fiction, there is a lot. I mean, and it's different kind of science in this respect. But some pins and points in dramaturgy are taken over in documentary as well. So I mean, if you have someone who is writing for I mean, good writer for fiction can help you to tell, okay, how much you need to develop in this respect. Sometimes, I mean, we also have problem with writers of documentaries in Croatia, in the Balkans in general. So basically, directors need to lean on the what we like to call ourselves creative producers. I mean, this is something to debate as well. But I want to say the producer who knows how much you need to have a feature film with your character, or to recognize, or to try to recognize is the character for the film. I mean, maybe it's not. I mean, there is a lot of steps. I mean, try to ask around. If you live here in Budapest, try to speak with the people who knows about it, and they can tell you. I mean, out of experience, they can tell you, okay, maybe it's not good character, or maybe it's great. What is good with documentary is basically you shoot along. I mean, there is a lot. I mean, this visual information that you get even from the interview, from the face of the person you want to shoot. I mean, it tells a lot, even more than the written text. So it goes along.
Just I wanted to mention something important: how many times you pitch. Don't pitch too many times. If you pitch the same stage, the same project, it didn't develop, then the same people will see your film on and see that it's not progressing. So if you pitch somewhere, you learn something, go to pitch again when you can show that you changed the game or you made some progress.
Because, I'm sorry, I mean, at many points, the same people are sitting in boards and choosing projects on different, and you don't know them, and maybe they are sitting now here, and you apply with the same trailer 6 months later, and it's like, what the fuck, you know? I mean, this is another ditch not to fall into.
Questions, yeah?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for this workshop. I have this project about recent law changes in Hungary, like especially in labor law, and how it's affecting international students who just graduated, and how it's hard to stay in Hungary, and students who are trying all of their ways with like different types of visa applications. So I just wanted to know, where can I apply with this project in Hungary and also in another European countries? It's in a very early stage, but I have a few hours of footage. So
I mean,
it's a trick one.
trick one. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, try to find someone who has a bit more experience to tell you where it could go. I mean, when I work with the directors, I mean, they want to go to pitch, but sometimes I don't feel it's ready enough. You talked about this, and then your producer basically cut your wings in part. I mean, it's not very nice for the cooperation, but if we manage to get along, then it's okay. But the best thing, actually, docweb.net has a lot of deadlines for different pitchings, and I think it's very useful start for the thing. Doc Around Europe network that Verzio is part of also has. I mean, I think all the festivals have some smaller or bigger industry. Is Biarritz? Did they finish the deadline? I mean, is the deadline passed? It's approaching. So I mean, there is a pitching in Biarritz for beginner filmmakers and also for like.
It's called FIPA Doc.
FIPA Doc. It's in January, but I don't know when is the deadline exactly. But I mean, with a bit of googling, you can find.
Passed as well, didn't it?
It passed. Yeah, thanks. Anyway, Docs Barcelona is in April. They have pretty developed industry. May is Doc Munich is in May. So I think this deadline is still on, and they accept a lot of international projects and ideas.
Doc Munich is definitely, but I would take into consideration the origin country of the filmmaker, the origin country of some of your characters who are like foreign students in Hungary, and that also can give you some tips on where to look. Anything else?
That's what I wanted to say. So sometimes geography helps you to decide. There are, for example, there are Balkan focus workshops. For example, Balkan Documentary Center organizes something just for the Balkan countries.
Could be in March.
Yeah, both development and post-production workshops. There, for example, I was really looking for a Greek co-producer once for my film, and then I went to pitch in Thessaloniki because then you have a goal, maybe not for the money, but go somewhere you would find the right partner. So think about who would be interested in the finished film, and also look for workshops on those territories, because you would be more likely to get selected, and also more likely you meet partners who can help you finish the film.
Anyone else? I think we have like 2 minutes left or 3, so you can still. Okay. Well, then I don't think I start a new topic because we are running out of time. So thank you so much for coming, and I guess feel free to approach people individually during parties of these organizations and happy hours and whatever, and just go and grab the opportunities that you see arise.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. Like these festival opportunities, you can go up to anyone and ask the most stupid question, and that's what you have to do. Like, I'm not saying there are no stupid questions, really. Like, I went up to the workshops and asked people how to write co-production contracts, what to do, this and that. If I'm stuck with the project, I go and ask other professionals, what do I do? This is events like this is made for that. Like ask, and just talk, and then be brave to present your idea, because that's the chance you can accelerate this whole process.
I would also add, as someone who works for Doc Incubator, if you are fortunate enough to have some money for your project, try to save something for these things as well, not just for the production itself, because it can get very, very expensive, as they said. And you know, if you already save it beforehand, then it's going to be easier for you. Yeah, Doc Incubator can come from 5,000 euros to till 15,000 euros.
That's the priciest workshop. But for
but
example,
it's because it's but it's a big workshop, and
Yeah,
there's the participation fee. But sometimes the pitching is just for free and you only need to cover your travel and accommodation. There's, it's really, it depends on. Sorry.
Yeah, even Zagreb Dogs, when I pitched there, they paid my hotel room, and so I had to just jump in the car and drive there. So
Yeah, Zagreb Dogs, this part of pitching doesn't exist anymore. But actually, thank you for mentioning it. That, I mean, they lost the industry completely, but now they are starting with something that goes along with what we talked about in criticized 7 minute speech, whatever. They started with something called slow docs, slow pitch. So it means that you are not like this in 7 minutes. You're in drama and you need to pitch your film, and then you go to the lunch and then whatever. But they are spending the day with the mentors. I mean, they go to museums, they talk about, I mean, they're getting to know each other. I mean, it's very nice concept, actually. It's much closer to what we like to call art, no? So I think it's very interesting, and I hope it will develop. Yeah.
Body?
Just one question, thank you. So when we students start to work on a film, they encourage us to don't care if nobody else finds your idea interesting, just go with it and follow your idea. And what do you think, when is it time to start thinking, is it interesting for anybody else? Because I think at the very first part, it is important to not think about this, at least for some part of the process.
But I would encourage you to do what you like to do. But you obviously don't have production on your on your faculty, or you do. I'm kidding. But I think that you need to do the film you feel. I mean, when money comes in, compromises come in. I mean, you need to be aware of it. So I mean, it can be even artistic compromise in this where I mean, maybe it's not the topic at the moment, so nobody reacts to that. But if you feel that the film, I mean, you need to do it no matter what. Maybe you'll do it without the money, or maybe you'll need to find alternative way of funding it. But there are ways, this way or another. But you know, of course, we would all do cooking shows and have money. But then is it something that we really want to do?
but I just wanted to say that it's very different to have a director and a producer's approach on this, and because producer is there to help you finish the film, and unless you want to make the film out of your own pocket and don't care whether anyone sees at the end, it's not a professional producer's approach. So and usually what happens to me is during these workshops, the director's idea of the film and the producer's idea of the film come closer in this workshop, and if it's a lucky scenario, then you meet